3 minutes after his heart stopped, he said he was floating above his own body. Watching doctors trying to bring him back to life, he could hear them, he could see them, but he felt no pain, only peace. And what he described next changed the way his family looked at death forever. We don't like talking about death. It feels dark, scary, final. But what if it's not the end of the story? What if it's just a doorway? Tonight, we're stepping into experiences that sound impossible, but were described by real people who were clinically dead and came back. And some of what they saw will stay with you long after this video ends. There was a man named David who suffered a massive heart attack at 54. His heart stopped in the ambulance. For several minutes, there was no heartbeat, no breathing. Dr. Slater said he was gone. But David says that's when everything became clear. He felt like he was rising upward, as if gravity had simply let go of him. Below him, he saw his own body lying still. He saw paramedics working fast, shouting instructions. He even remembered a specific joke one of them made to ease the tension. When he woke up days later in the hospital, he repeated that same joke to the stunned medic who had said it. Now here's the part that makes people pause. David said he felt surrounded by warmth, not heat, but comfort. He described it like being wrapped in the safest feeling you've ever known. No fear, no regret, just peace. And he didn't want to come back. But suddenly, he felt pulled backward, like a strong current dragging him into his body again. Then pain, noise, light. He was alive. Stories like this are often called near-death experiences. Some people see bright lights. Some describe a tunnel. Others say they met loved ones who had already passed away. A woman named Maria said she saw her grandmother standing in a place filled with light. Her grandmother didn't speak with words, but Maria felt a message clearly. It's not your time. When Maria woke up from her coma, she said she wasn't afraid of dying anymore. Now, you might be thinking, is this just the brain playing tricks? When oxygen drops, the brain can create strange visions. Scientists have studied this for years. Some believe it's chemical reactions firing during extreme stress. Others say we simply don't know enough about consciousness yet. And that's where things get interesting. Because even doctors who don't believe in anything spiritual admit something strange happens in those final moments. On this channel, Life After Death, we explore these powerful stories, not to tell you what to believe, but to share what people experienced when they crossed that line and came back. Because whether you see it as science, faith, or mystery, the emotional impact is real. People who return often say the same thing. They care less about money, less about status, more about love, more about time, more about small moments. One firefighter named James was trapped in a burning building when the roof collapsed. He said everything went black. Then suddenly, he was standing in a quiet field under a bright sky. No smoke, no fire. He felt completely calm. In the distance, he saw figures walking toward him. He believed they were fellow firefighters who had died years earlier. Just as they got close, he heard a voice yelling his name. It grew louder. The field faded. The heat returned. His team had pulled him out. He survived. What's powerful is not just what they saw, it's how they changed after. James said he stopped fearing death. Instead, he started fearing not living fully. He began spending more time with his kids. He told people he loved them without hesitation. He said if death feels anything like what he experienced, it's not something to dread. But not every story is peaceful. Some people describe confusion, darkness, a feeling of being lost before finding light. These stories remind us that the human mind is deep and complex. And maybe, just maybe, there's more happening than we understand. Here's something that might surprise you. Many people who have near-death experiences struggle to talk about them. They're afraid others will think they're crazy. So they stay silent for years. Imagine carrying something that powerful alone. A memory of stepping beyond life and returning. That silence can feel heavier than the experience itself. So why share these stories? Because death touches every single one of us. We all lose someone. We all wonder what happens next. And while no one has every answer, listening to those who stood at the edge can bring comfort, or at least curiosity. Think about this. If you knew for certain that death was not the end, how would you live differently starting tomorrow? Would you forgive faster? Would you chase your dreams harder? Would you stop worrying about things that don't really matter? Life after death isn't just about what happens when we die. It's about how we live right now. The idea that there could be something more has pushed humans to search, question, and believe for thousands of years. And whether these experiences are spiritual journeys or the brain's final fireworks, they leave behind one clear message. Life is fragile, and it's precious. I want to know what you think. Do you believe these stories show proof of something beyond? Or do you think science will one day explain every detail? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it openly and respectfully. If this story made you think or gave you chills, hit like and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're curious about what other people saw when they stepped beyond the line, subscribe to Life After Death. Because the next story might change the way you see your own life.